Keith Malugin was my youth pastor. So probably my junior and senior year, and then I stayed pretty connected with him first few years of college. In fact, he performed the ceremony at my wedding.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, and he is now actually in the Dominican Republic with his wife and son doing ministry, helping um, kiddos who are into that sex trafficking thing. They're doing stuff to change all that, which is beautiful and amazing. Um, he played a huge, significant role in my life, helping me understand how much of a leader I actually am, and like empowering me to be a leader, and like opening up a space for me to be able to lead. Like I was leading Bible studies in high school, and I was helping out with the worship team. I learned how to play guitar and would sing on the worship team in our youth group, and um, I would help him and my friend Dale. Dale and I got into a lot of shenanigans, um, like doing. We would create programs with Keith. So like if we were like Easter was coming up, we would create this whole. I remember creating a whole like event. Like I did a bunch of event planning with Keith, um, which I also enjoy doing a lot now. Oh, this is so amazing. Oh, hi, Kip.
Exciting.
Hi, Mary.
So, who's your third one?
What was the original question?
People who inspired you.
Hi, Alex. People who inspired me. Okay. Oh, there's so many people to choose from. Okay, Emily. Emily is the one that is coming to my brain, so I'm just going to say her name. Emily Umulus. I, out of college, decided not to go into music education and went into full-time ministry. I worked for a college campus ministry at Purdue University in Indiana for 3 years. So I moved out of Ohio, drove 6 hours away to the middle of nowhere, basically Indiana, and didn't, except for this like crazy college campus, um, and didn't know a soul. And somehow I got introduced to Emily Umulus, and she is a wonderful human who was a few steps ahead of me. She's married. At the time, I was not married. So she's married, has 3 kids, and doing the same ministry that I'm doing with a different crowd of people. Um, and she inspired me so much to learn about what it meant to be a wife in a healthy marriage, and um, how to stand up for myself. And I actually, wow, I haven't spoken about this in a long time. There was a couple of, there was a time in my life where I had symptoms of depression. And she was there, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm obviously a very bubbly personality, and that was just gone. Um, and like, I had trouble getting up in the morning. I couldn't do simple tasks, and it was very strange, and I didn't know what to do. And she physically picked up the phone for me and called the doctor to try and get me an appointment, because like I didn't even have the strength, or like I wanted to do that, but I didn't have the ability like in myself to be able to do any of it. And she did that for me and got me connected to a really good doctor. And so I was able to get with this doctor, actually be on medication for a year and a half. That actually helped me lift some of the craziness that was happening in my life so that I can actually still move through my day. And that was such a significant thing in my life. But again, another person holding space for me and just loving me and holding this container. It's just beautiful.
I love this question because I hope for everyone watching it highlights the same things that it does for me, in that these three people who have influenced Jess's life have created her love for holding space for people and allowing them to be who they are while teaching them very beautiful ways of being and inspiring them to grow. And then the second person is inspiring in the character for you. Like it's the inspiration of wanting to really get out there and help and bring people together. Like the events thing is about bringing people together and knowing full well that just the bringing of people together creates such a beautiful magic. And then the third inspiration is again in that beautiful space holding, but it's a highlight to your work that you're doing now as well, in that like sometimes we're in a space where we can't actually help ourselves, and this beautiful human's gifted you the insight that sometimes you get to be the bridge for that person to actually to use the tools that are out there that they already know that they need to use, like, but they can't get there
Mm,
themselves. And it's a beautiful testament to that the journey you've just taken us on is a beautiful testament to who you are and what you do and the work that you do to help people through these moments when, you know, generally after you've broken up with somebody, there is definitely symptoms of of depression, like you spoke about. There is a sadness that we know we don't want to sit in, but sometimes we need somebody to help us out. And so that's why your work inspires me so much, because
mm,
and it's beautiful because these people you've just highlighted in your life story where you've got to the space that you're in.
mm.
I'd love people to witness, you know, you a little bit more in what you do and how you help people. Um, and so if you had to narrow down your work to just two tools that you help people learn to inspire their growth, what would those two tools be?
Two? Ooh. Um, Learning to love yourself and that self-talk piece that I talked about earlier is so significant. And it's been a theme that I've been seeing a lot this week too, is like most people that I talk to don't even recognize that they're not being kind to themselves, let alone are they being kind to themselves. And you would never say to any other human what you say to yourself. And that is just so sad. And but I also know because I have been there not that long ago because I was doing the same thing. And so now that I have so much more freedom, I like want to help everyone learn how to love themselves and speak kindly to themselves.
I love that, and it's definitely it's very interesting because the more, I mean, we're involved in a lot of different coaches' lives and see them, and pretty much every angle is about how is the self talk and like how you love yourself. For me, that journey was definitely a practice. And do you have any tools that like practical tools that you give your clients to help them get to a space? Because it comes back even now. I mean, I've done so much work. Even now, I'll have layers where I'm like, "Oh, that wasn't very nice," that come up. But it's like recognizing them and choosing not to go down that thought path. It's been a practice for me. So, do you have any practical tools that could?
Sure. It kind of depends on where you are in that journey, but if you're like just starting off, usually it's writing a list of nice things about yourself first. Like what what is something nice and beautiful and loving that you can say to yourself other than like, wow, your shirt is nice. Like it has to be not superficial. Like it has to be like, damn, I love my ass. Or wow, I like really enjoy my sense of humor. Or like, you have to find those things that are substantial that you would like if you were asked that question of somebody else, you would respond the same way for yourself. And like, what do you really love about yourself, or what do you enjoy about yourself? And writing out a list of those, at least 10, is a really good start to practicing loving yourself and being kind to yourself.
Beautiful, and it's good to like read that over, I guess, quite regularly to remind yourself when you forget.
Yes, and there are like even if you put up a few post-its in the house with one of those things on it and then move the post-its because when something just stays in the same place, you ignore it. So if you put it up by the bathroom mirror for a few days and then you move it, or you move it every day, whatever the case, whatever's going to bring it to your space and remind you, um, that's a really good way to bring that to your attention more and more, because the more that you start to notice how you talk to yourself, that's when you can actually make the change.
It's beautiful, and I love the post-it tip. I really get to embrace that. I feel a lot of joy in sticking post-its on my wall, and I haven't done it yet, so I'm excited.
Mm,
I'm
mm,
gonna pop them all around, of different color. What's your other
mm.
tool? What's another tool?
Uh, Another tool.
Yeah. So you, if we nail down your work into two pieces, that would be the most create the most significant growth in a person. The first one you've said is like really learning to talk beautifully